Welcome back to Secret Screen Stories, where we uncover the most interesting secrets, hidden gems, and mind-blowing facts from your favorite movies. Today, we're going to show you the world of mutants, where two of the most iconic characters go head-to-head in a film that's breaking box office records left and right. Yep, you guessed it, Deadpool vs. Wolverine. The film raked in a whopping $205 million during its opening weekend, making it one of the biggest R-rated openings ever. Now, if you've already seen this epic clash, you probably caught a few of those insane cameos, the nods to Marvel's rich history, and of course, Ryan Reynolds' legendary fourth wall breaks. But still, there's so much more that might have slipped right past you while you were busy laughing or holding your breath during those action-packed scenes. And in this video, we're going to show you 10 of these Easter eggs, hidden details, and behind-the-scene gags that you might have missed. These are the kind of secrets that'll make you want to watch the movie all over again, just to catch what you didn't see the first time. And just a fair warning, there are going to be some spoilers up ahead. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, consider this your heads up. Alright, let's get started. First up we have number 1, a stroll down memory lane. When Deadpool and Wolverine get kicked out of their timeline and land in the void, the movie gives us a little trip through comic book history, and it's pure gold if you're quick enough to catch it. So as the camera pans through the dusty landscape of the void, you can spot some seriously iconic gear just laying around. First up, we've got Thor's winged helmet. Yup, the original one that's been through countless battles and comic book covers. And that's not all. Just a few feet away, you'll find Captain America's very first shield, the one that's seen more action than a summer blockbuster. And if you keep your eyes peeled, you'll also see Cap's Hydra shield from a more recent comic storyline. It's like the filmmakers wanted to sprinkle in a little nostalgia for all the comic book fans out there. Now, let's talk about something that we all love: cameos.
Come again?
Yeah, I heard all about you. You screwed up everything.
Number 2, the cameo craze. Sure, you probably noticed the big ones like Elektra, Blade, and Gambit making their appearances, but did you catch all the Deadpools at the end of the movie? Because it was a whole parade of Deadpool variants, and they came with some pretty surprising faces behind those masks. First up, we've got Welshpool, played by none other than Paul Mullen, the star striker from Wrexham AFC. And why is that so cool? Well, Ryan Reynolds, our very own Deadpool, just so happens to co-own the team. But that's just the beginning. Then there's Ladypool, played by Blake Lively. Yup, that's Ryan Reynolds' wife in real life. Keeping everything in the family, Kidpool and Babypool were played by their kids. And it doesn't stop there. Remember Headpool? That was voiced by Nathan Fillion, adding his own flair to the madness. We even got a Deadpool variant played by Tom Holland's brother. Talk about a Spidey surprise. And last but certainly not least, Cowboy Deadpool? That was none other than Matthew McConaughey. Moving on, the next hidden detail is a real showstopper. Number 3, the Superman surprise. One of the biggest and most jaw-dropping cameos in Deadpool vs. Wolverine features none other than Henry Cavill. Yup, Superman himself, but in a way that you've never seen before. Cavill shows up as an alternate version of Wolverine from another timeline, and let's just say it's as epic as it sounds. The scene kicks off with Cavill working on a motorcycle, looking every bit the rugged hero, when Deadpool rolls up, ready to stir up some trouble. What follows is a brawl that's both hilarious and action-packed. But here's the part that really had fans cheering. Cavill throws in his iconic reload punch, the same move that made waves in his fight with Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible Fallout. It's a little nod to his action hero roots, and it's the kind of moment that makes you go, did that really just happen? This cameo was an absolute crowd pleaser, and added a whole new layer of excitement to the movie.
Now we're talking. Oh, yeah. That's the whole goddamn package right there.
The next important background fact you may have missed is all about number 4, the sneaky smartphone joke. When Deadpool first meets Cassandra Nova in her eerie lair, he can't help but make a quip about her choice of phone, an Amazon Fire smartphone. Now, this might seem like a throwaway line, but there's actually a hilarious reason behind it that ties into some real-world tech drama. You see, Apple has this rule that no villains in movies are allowed to use an iPhone. Why? Because Apple wants their shiny gadgets to be associated with all things good and heroic, not evil masterminds plotting world domination. So, instead of rocking an iPhone, Cassandra Nova is seen with an Amazon Fire, which just adds a little extra punch to Deadpool's snarky comment.
Like you said in The Convoy, this finger-licking, dead-inside pixie slab of third-rate dime store nut milk can...
Alright, the next hidden detail on our list is all about number 5, that killer soundtrack. Deadpool vs. Wolverine is packed with music tracks that aren't just there to make the action scenes pop. They're also loaded with nods and callbacks to other moments in the Marvel Universe. One of the biggest musical moments kicks off right at the start of the movie with NSYNC's Bye 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 blaring over an epic action scene. But here's where it gets even cooler. This isn't the first time we've heard this tune in the X-Men world. Remember X2? Yep, the same song was playing on Cyclops' car radio. And speaking of radios, there's another little musical Easter egg that's easy to miss. During one of Deadpool's and Wolverine's chaotic car fights, the radio flips through the stations and briefly lands on a track from The Greatest Showman. Now, if you didn't catch it, it's a fun nod to Hugh Jackman's other huge hit movie, where he traded his claws for a top hat and some serious singing chops.
I don't like uncomfortable silences.
What are you doing?
Up next is about one of the sharpest cameos in Deadpool vs. Wolverine. Number 6, the legendary Wesley Snipes as Blade. This appearance is packed with lines that'll have you grinning from ear to ear, especially if you're a fan of the original Blade movies. But there's one exchange that stands out for its hilarious behind-the-scenes nod. During his cameo, Blade drops a line that's both funny and a little bit meta. He tells Deadpool, "I always hated you," which might sound like typical Blade sass, but it's actually a cheeky reference to the real-life tension between Snipes and Ryan Reynolds on the set of Blade Trinity. Apparently, Snipes wasn't a huge fan of Reynolds' constant humor during filming, and this line is a playful jab at that. Deadpool, of course, fires back with a quick, "I know," because, well, Deadpool always knows how to keep the banter going. And in addition, Blade also gives us a shout out to his own movie history by mentioning skating uphill, a callback to one of his iconic lines from the first Blade film. It's a small detail, but for fans of the Daywalker, it's pure gold. Alright, so up next, we've got nods to Wolverine's legendary past. At number 7, it's a walk through Wolverine's greatest hits. This one's all about those iconic Wolverine moments that Deadpool just couldn't resist visiting during the movie's opening montage. First off, let's talk about those short jokes Deadpool keeps throwing at Wolverine. These aren't just random digs. They're actually a playful jab at the original skepticism around Hugh Jackman's casting as the famously short Wolverine. But those are just the appetizer. The montage also takes us through some of the most famous scenes from Wolverine's comic book history. We see Wolverine in an alleyway, which is straight out of the Age of Apocalypse storyline. Then there's Logan on the cross, a powerful image lifted from Uncanny X-Men number 251, and how about that slick white tuxedo? That's a nod to Wolverine's time in Madripoor, where he went by the name Patch and mingled with some of the shadiest characters around. This montage is like a greatest hits album for Wolverine fans, jam-packed with all the best moments that made the character a legend. And just like that, Deadpool adds his own twist to these classic scenes, making them even more unforgettable.
The hell are we? I don't know. Looks kind of Mad Maxy. But that would be IP infringement, right?
Fucking jokes.
Next up, we've got an Easter egg hunt like no other. Number 8, the Void's treasure trove of Easter eggs. Now, the Void in Deadpool vs. Wolverine is not just a wasteland. It's a gold mine of hidden goodies pulled straight from the MCU and beyond. If you were watching closely, you might have noticed some pretty iconic objects scattered throughout this chaotic landscape. For instance, among the rubble, you'll spot a crashed helicarrier, a nod to the larger Marvel universe and its epic battles. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Look a little closer, and you'll see some cars that look like they've driven straight out of Mad Max. And how about that ice cream truck from Moon Knight? Yup, it's there too, adding a sweet touch to the madness. You can also catch a glimpse of the Red Room, the infamous training ground for Black Widows, which has crashed into the sand just like it dropped out of the sky. And if you're a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, keep your eyes peeled. You might just spot the Milano ship, parked there like it's taking a breather from saving the universe. This scene is a wild mix of everything we love about Marvel, with little nods to past films, shows, and comics that hardcore fans will definitely appreciate. Alright, next, we're gonna talk about some awesome cameos that may have slipped past some of you. Number 9, the blink and you'll miss it cameos. If you were paying close attention, you might have caught a glimpse of a couple of familiar faces from the X-Men universe. Characters that had us all saying, wait, was that who I think it was? First up, we spotted Azazel, who you might remember from X-Men First Class. This red-skinned teleporting baddie made a brief appearance, and if you blinked, you might have missed him. And right alongside him was Lady Deathstrike, the fierce warrior with those terrifying adamantium claws, who last showed up in X-Men 2. But that's not all. We also got a quick peek at Toad, another classic X-Men character who hasn't been seen in a while. These cameos were super short, but they've got us all wondering, could there be more X-Men stars making an appearance? The rumors are already swirling, with whispers about Cyclops possibly joining the party. If that's true, it looks like we might be in for a reunion of some of our favorite mutant heroes and villains. And now, here's a dark twist that you might have missed if you weren't looking closely. Number 10. Ant-Man doesn't exactly make it out alive in this universe. Yeah, you heard that right. In one particular eerie shot, we see that poor Ant-Man has met his end, and his skull has been repurposed in a pretty gruesome way. A few sharp-eyed viewers may notice, with a little help, that the skull has actually become the base of operations for Cassandra Nova and a few other X-Men villains. Even in the trailer, there's this intense moment where Deadpool and Wolverine make their daring escape, leaping straight out of one of Ant-Man's eye sockets. It's one of those blink and you'll miss it moments that's equal parts creepy and cool. And those were our top 10 background details, missed moments, hidden scenes, and fun facts from Deadpool vs. Wolverine. We hope you enjoyed uncovering these awesome Easter eggs as much as we did, whether it's spotting cameos, catching sneaky references, or just appreciating the wild ride that this movie is. There's no shortage of cool stuff to geek out over. If you loved this video and want to stay in the loop on all things movie magic, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. And if you caught any other hidden gems that we missed, drop them in the comments down below. We'd love to hear what you found. Thanks for hanging out with us here at Secret Screen Stories, your go-to spot for all the unexpected and hidden details in your favorite films. Until next time, keep watching closely. You never know what you might discover.